We had some technical difficulties. Here we are. So here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the last three authorities. So I'm going to get right into it, and then after this, the rest of the week, we are going to talk about the spleen and the fear gate and how that all relates with money. So I am really excited about this. So the last three authorities in human design that we're going to tap into is the ego authority, the mental environment authority, and then the lunar authority. So the ego authority, that is when the heart center is defined. And so the heart center has everything to do with your ego, your willpower, your values. And when it comes to the ego authority, it is really much of like what you want and what you desire. And so it is a very powerful pull, like, you know, it's like a pull of a yes or a no. And it's really comes from the, you know, when they say like, listen to your heart, listen to what your heart is like telling you, that's what that is. It's like really just like listening to what your heart wants versus what your mind wants. And so when someone asks you, or when you have to make a decision, it would feel like a physical pull of a yes or a no, or it would really align with like what you desire. And sometimes this is where people do have an ego authority will get in their heads about these decisions because they may feel like they don't deserve like what they desire. Like they don't feel like they can ask for that, for example, but you can. And so that is the ego authority. And then we got after that the mental projector, it's the Soundboarding environment authority. So this will be found only in projectors, mostly mental projectors, which means that you have the top defined. So it could be a head defined, ajna defined, and throat defined, but you won't see a mental projector have anything below that. So soundboarding, what that means is like literally it is similar to self-projected, but it is talking it out loud and like with someone to hold a space with, and it's like kind of like you put it out there, you get it out of your mind, because you are not meant to make a decision from your mind, but because as a mental projector, you don't have like an actual body sensation, you are meant to like kind of like speak it out, to let it out, and then the answer kind of comes back to you through that way. And so it is really important for mental projectors to be very mindful of their environment, mindful of who they're surrounding themselves. If you are a mental projector, like who you are with, where are you living, like what kind of space are you in, it is going to be extremely important for you because of the amount of open centers, undefined centers you have. And so being in the correct environment is super key. And then having the safe space of when you are making decisions to have somebody that can hold that space for you, that you can just like talk it out and like literally just like let it out, like whatever's happening in your like mind, to like literally like vocally let it out. And so that is that authority. And then the last one is a lunar authority. With this, you'll only find it in reflectors. So what does that mean is waiting an entire moon cycle before making a decision. And so the reason why is because reflectors have all open or undefined centers. They may have some gates, some hanging gates, but all their centers are open or undefined. And because their aura is very much sampling, if you are a reflector, what happens is like when it comes to making a decision, you like to kind of take in a little bit of every I guess like every avenue, like every aspect, and you like to kind of like see like, okay, like which one do I feel like, but it doesn't that to figure out which decision to make out of all of those options that are being shown to you. It's not quick for you. Like, it's not like, oh, it's going to be this, because depending on where the transits are and where the moon is and what's happening in the transits with all the other planets. There'll be some days that you might be gearing towards one way and then another day towards another. So it is very much honoring your time to making those decisions and really taking that time to not rush yourself and expressing that to others as well, and communicate that, because I feel like even in work environment, personal lives, like because everything is so instant and so, you have to make a decision now, living in a generator mani-gen world, right, where that is comprised of 70% of the population, that have, or anybody who has a splenic, an ego authority, or even a sacral authority. It's like those authorities are very quick. Like you tend to, unless you get in your head, but you can really be fast in that decision making process. But when you have emotional authority or lunar authority, or even the no inner authorities, which is soundboarding or even self-projected, I find myself sometimes I need to take my time and not make a decision right away, even though I'm speaking out loud. Sometimes it's just not clear. And so honoring that for ourselves and communicating that with others and being no, I'm going to take my time with this. And when I have made this decision, and setting those boundaries. And so if you are a reflector, to set those boundaries and communicate that to others. So those are the last 3 authorities. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM, send me a message, write in the comments. I appreciate all the love. And yeah, that's it for today. And I will be speaking to you all tomorrow for the next live. Bye.